Hello, we're Liam and Indigo, and today is the Rebellion of One, and you can see on your screens that we've tuned into 6 of the 200 people who are sat on their own in the road across the UK today. We'll be with London, Birmingham, Oxford, Swansea, Newcastle and Weymouth, but that's not all. There's 200 people who are sitting on the road today on their own with a placard saying, "I am terrified because of the climate crisis."
Yeah, we're in locations, Tyndale, Bournemouth, Nottingham, Bradford, Ipswich, we're in Cornwall, we're in Herefordshire, we're in Gloucestershire today, we're in Newham in London, we're up in Manchester, we're in South Wales, we're in Bangor in Northern Ireland, Shrewsbury, Pembrokeshire, Huddersfield, Sheffield, and we're also in Clapham as well as other parts of London. So Rebellion of One is happening all across the country.
Yeah, this is the first time that this method of protest has been tried in the UK, so you're watching like a pretty momentous moment. So if you can share this post and help get this word out that like just ordinary people, doctors, nurses, teachers, students, unemployed, wonderful people are deciding to go out, sit in a road because they feel they literally have no other option to bring the climate crisis to the forefront of our minds.
It feels like a massive moment for Extinction Rebellion at the moment. So we've had an amazing month where we've had the women who have been breaking glass to try and force the banks to stop investing in the fossil fuels that are destroying us. We've had about 13 people over the last few months disobeying the dock, 11 of whom have been sent to prison. We've also had the recent acquittal of the Shell 7 trial, which makes clear that we've, when a jury is given a week to consider calmly all the evidence about how disastrous and catastrophic this climate crisis is, they can give a reasonable verdict that we are not guilty in terms of what we're doing to highlight this crisis. We're going to go to Birmingham now because the police have turned up pretty quickly over in Birmingham. So I think we're going to cut there to see what's going on. And maybe hear from the person there more about what's going on at the scene.
Hi there. Yeah, I'm Kate. I'm in central Birmingham, and our sitter Louis has been moved out of the road pretty quickly by the police. When Louis sat, he just here, where you can see the road is extremely narrow, and 2 motorists attempted to get round him. It's really quite extraordinary. And so his sit has not been very long, but it has created quite a bit of an impact to see. We've got police vans here, one's on the pavement. I think it was extremely brave of our sitter to do what he did. Birmingham is a city that was built in homage to the cars. And now I'd just like you to see what Lou had to say about why he was doing this today.
I'm Louis, and I'm not sitting in a road because I enjoy disrupting people's days or because I've got nothing better to do. I'm here because we're in a crisis that so few people realise the scale of. The climate crisis, scientists have been trying to tell us for decades how important this is, how big a threat this is. And all we're getting from governments is promises, but no action. And scientists are showing us we need action, and we need it now. Or what we're going to see is horrific beyond words. But most people don't know this. Most people don't realise this. And the conventional ways of trying to tell them have failed. So we're left to just people like me sitting in the road.
Right, can you stand up, please? Is there any reason why you can't stand up?
My name is Emma, and today I sat down in the middle of a road in Weymouth and blocked the traffic. This is a desperate action, but this is a desperate situation. I'm risking myself to sound the alarm because right now we are all at risk from climate breakdown. If you're watching this, I'm probably in a police cell by now, but we need to ask ourselves who the real criminals are in a climate and ecological crisis. Our government are failing us with their inaction. Our banks are pouring billions of pounds into the fossil fuel industry. Our media are not telling the truth about the scale and the urgency of the climate crisis. Our own Dorset Council recently blocked a motion by councillors to support the climate and ecological emergency bill. I've studied and worked as a conservation ecologist for 15 years, always trusting that the science would be listened to by decision makers. But our governments, they have all the science and the facts, and still they are not acting. And that's why today I need to act. That's why we all need to act. I know that what I'm doing may cause some disruption, but here in Weymouth we'll be amongst the first to feel the effects of sea level rise, with vast areas flooding and our businesses and our homes made worthless because we won't be able to insure them. I'm doing this today to prevent disruption in the future. I'm terrified to sit amongst traffic on a busy main road, but I am more terrified for the future of my 4- and 6-year-old nieces who are staring at a future of starvation because crops are going to fail, and violence because wars will break out over the access to fresh water. This isn't fear-mongering, this is fact. This is an emergency. I will not be a bystander.
So we're here in Oxford for the Rebellion of One. I'm here with Anne. The police have just turned up. I spoke to her yesterday, if you want to show that video.
I'm Anne and I'm in Oxford, and I'm doing this because I have to, because 2 years ago, after the April Extinction Rebellion, the government declared a climate and ecological emergency and simply haven't acted on it. And now they're talking on the radio and saying things like, well, Britain is better than other countries at this and doing this or that better. And I'm thinking, it's not a competition. It's just not a competition. We're all in it together. And the global south are suffering now, suffering so badly now. We're okay here for the moment, but it won't be long. Cardiff, large sections of Cardiff are going to be underwater by 2030. It really is coming. It's going to get worse. It's going to get so much worse, unbelievably worse. And I've got 3 small grandchildren, and I can't bear to think about their futures. It's so terrifying. I'm just terrified for the future of my grandchildren.
Put this away.
Here we are in central London in Piccadilly Circus. The police have just arrived.
Your own safety is for you not to be thinking. You have been standing here on the front.
Yeah.
Just jump off to the side of the road.
Yeah. The police have arrived. We're here in Piccadilly Circus.
I'm not discussing it. So you see me arrested for striking the highway, and then we'll just quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. The police have just arrived. This brake sitter has been here for a good 5 minutes, blocking all the traffic in Piccadilly Circus.
Yes, we've had a few minutes.
So we're putting in another one. Basically, the options to move off the roads over that.
10 minutes.
Human right and human right.
Official choice.
She's been sitting very silently for several minutes, peacefully in the middle of this road. There's a huge traffic jam behind us. As you can see here. All the streets and all the roads around here are blocked. You can hear the car horns. The buses are all backed up.
How can you scale it to this? And there's no rubber.
So it's pretty inspiring seeing all these people there and like just realising they're adding to this long history of direct action of people going out of their way to bring a problem to the forefront.
Yeah, and we saw Emma there down in Weymouth in Dorset, and she was also doing extended non-cooperation, which is a tactic that we used last year, which is basically not cooperating for the whole time arrest. So it's not just going floppy whilst you're being arrested, it's also going floppy at the police station from when you're being taken to the police cells. And it can also be extended to not giving your details at the police station, forcing them to take you to court, not cooperating whilst you're being taken to court. You can extend, you can do it for as long as possible. And I think that's what our sitter in Weymouth was planning to do down there. And she spoke a little bit about who the real criminals were. We're going to Newcastle next, just to see what's going on up in Newcastle with our sitter up there.
Morning, we are in Newcastle in Jesmond, Acorn Road, and the police have just arrived. Our brave sitter is terrified because of the climate breakdown. She's terrified that her kids will suffer and not survive it. We have quite a crowd of onlookers, and we're just waiting to see now what the police are going to do. She's very concerned, particularly that the CAE bill isn't being picked up by all MPs. That's her main concern, that the MPs are not taking it seriously. We have a dog retrieving his ball from under her chair. Okay. Okay, so we're now going to pass over to Swansea.
Hi, welcome from Swansea. Yeah, Swansea, the police are just arriving here as well. Our brave sitter is in the road. Swansea is slowly returning to business as usual. Our sitter's got some members of the public supporting her. The police have just arrived, so I'm not sure what's going to happen now. I would like to take this opportunity to point out that it's been 2 years since our government declared the climate emergency, and what have they done? They've given the go-ahead to 3 airport expansions. They've allowed planning permission for a new coal mine. They've abolished the scheme they had to improve insulation in homes. So they seem to be going backwards, not forwards. In the meantime, the general public are taking brave actions, like these sitters today, to try and instigate change to the way we live, and to let people know how urgent it is to take action. So, yeah. So our sitter today, Tez, has made a little video saying why she's taking this action today. Here she is.
I'm terrified that there's nothing to live for because of the climate crisis. How can I plan for a future without covering my eyes and covering my ears and burying my head in the sand? How could I start a family and bring a child into the world knowing what might be ahead for them? How could I study and have a career? There's no time left to become an expert in anything. I was naive enough to think the reason that we're not solving climate change is that we don't have the solutions. But we do, we're just not listening to the experts. How could I save for a house or save for anything? There's not enough time left. It seems to me like the only meaningful action that I can take is to try and get people to listen to the experts that already know the answers. Because if we don't, the future's fucked.
We're going to go in a minute. I'd like you to take the camera if you would. We're in Birmingham now in New Street, and one sitter has decided that rather than the traffic and attract the police, it's going to sit in the pedestrian precinct. So we've got traffic behind us and a lot of people walking by. Why have you taken this step today?
I think my placard is quite self-explanatory. I think most of us are aware of this ecological emergency we're experiencing. And most of us are aware about our operations and institutions not acting sufficiently fast to mitigate effects, causes and effects, and that we have enormous disasters which will what's going on the COVID crisis. Our governments were also not prepared. Time to prepare for this, the next set of disasters. For corporate institutions to react intelligent and time fashion.
It's horrible, and a taxi nearly ran me over. Lots of cars drove past, and you know what? They were watching and they were listening, and maybe they were angry. And I understand it caused disruption, and people were ready to move and busy to get on with their lives. But just a moment's pause to watch one person sitting in the road is a powerful reminder that we need to act now, and we all must stand up and do things that make us afraid. Because only with the power of seeing people be willing to be vulnerable can we move through this and be in our humanity and our humility. Seeing a huge protest with thousands of people is an us versus them situation. Seeing one person sitting in the road and being willing to be in their fear, I hope will encourage people to look at the evidence and look at the science and act.
Absolutely. And your sign you've got here, you've got I'm terrified of becoming a mother because of the climate crisis. Is this something that has inspired you to do this? Just the thought of, like, if you have children now, what kind of future they're going to have, and 50-50 if we get it wrong.
I'm a teacher. I work with early years, and And I'm also a birth doula. I spend my life surrounded with young families and young parents who are making the decision to birth and bring new people, new life into this world. And I believe in that beauty, in the cycle of the world turning and the opportunity to live, and to have to face a choice where I do not know if I can morally bring a child into the world. And if I can watch that child have to suffer because of the damage that we've done to this earth and to our planet, I do not know that I can do that. And so I have to face that choice rather than making the choice that I want to make, which is to ignore that and to pretend it's not happening, to have many children and to be able to use the philosophy I use in my education, my work, to foster a beautiful, happy life for them. That's not something I can promise within this world and within the inaction that the government is criminally bringing to the climate crisis and to climate awareness.
And that's what people do. They bury their head, pretend it's not happening, continue life as normal. And as you said, you're surrounded by kids, so you're very conscious of the kind of future that we're going to have. And coming here and doing this brave solo action is such a powerful thing. So thank you very much. Okay. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we saw Rosie there talking about fear, and I think in terms of civil disobedience, one of the biggest things is not deciding whether you can stand up to the state and all that stuff. It's actually just conquering your own fear is so much about civil disobedience within that. It was really touching to see Rosie talking there.
Yeah, and just as we're watching this one incident play out, there's also 200 other people who are sat in the road across the UK right now. You've seen 16 of those people on your screens covering across the UK. Now, many of our rebels are still sat in the road. And the police have come to some, and police have taken away. We saw Emma Smart in Dorset being taken away, and in some places the traffic has just been, really bad, and with drivers not choosing to stay and confront this enormous problem that faces us all, the impending climate emergency that is already upon us, instead choosing to drive past really fast, and that's led some people to come off the road. And why are people doing this? People are doing this because the government isn't acting. We heard that from someone in Swansea saying the solutions exist. It's just that the government has made a plan. They haven't even met the plan that they've made, and the plan isn't even good enough anyway. Boris is now calling for 2035. We've currently got this target of 2050. It's all too late. This will mean passing over 1.5 degrees of warming, and that will mean that all of life as we know it will change. Liam, tell us what have some notable people, establishment figures, been saying about this emergency? It's not just us, is it?
Yeah, we've got Sir David King, who's been talking recently about there is no carbon budget left. So all this talk of 2050 is a complete it's like I'm living in this insane other reality, because 2050 is not a real scenario. We're having, Sir James Bevan from the Environment Agency talking about the worst case scenarios that the Environment Agency is seeing in terms of the climate crisis in the UK right now. And he talks about what those worst case scenarios mean in 10 years' time. They mean crop failures. They mean extreme weather events in all the food-growing regions in the world. It means that our infrastructure is going to sort of completely disintegrate. It means that water levels are going to rise by 20 metres. These are the kinds of worst-case scenarios that we're talking about. And this is why over 200 people all across the country are sitting in the road right now, because they're terrified about what the implications of those worst case scenarios are going to be, and the fact that our government are not acting. So I suppose one of the main things that Rebellion of One is also doing today is really speaking to our own movement around about what is it that we're going to do in this summer and for the rest of the year. What does it mean to be human in this time of absolute crisis? And what it means is to face up to your fears and to get out on the streets and to really resist this system, because that is what's required in 2021. We all need to come together as one to really fight this crisis. And that is what Rebellion of One is about. And we're seeing, that all over the country today, which I think is really amazing.
People are tired of these wishy-washy solutions, and people are not even our government's not even implementing. They're tired of hoping for the government to act on the science, and they are taking action. And once people have taken that action and they've stepped into that fear and they've realised that they are strong enough to be able to do it, that is what hopefully is inspiring you guys at home to take action too. Share this post, spread this message that 200 people are stepping out and saying, stop, what the hell is going on? We are catapulting ourselves into an emergency because of the greed of this system that we live within, a system that just chooses to just destroy the natural world. Right, now we're going over to Oxford with a placard, I'm terrified for my grandchildren's future. Over to you in Oxford.
I'm here with Anne in Oxford. Anne, why are you here today?
I'm here because 2 years ago the government declared a climate and ecological emergency, and there's been nothing. There's been no action. There is no plan in place. There's no strategy. There's nothing. I don't understand what part of the world emergency the government isn't getting. It's an emergency. It should be treated like a war. It's bigger, so much bigger than the pandemic. It's huge. And the global south are already suffering. And I think people here are sort of thinking, oh, well, it's over there, but it's not. It's coming. The crisis with the refugees, the food shortages, the floods, the weather disruptions of so many different kinds, they're all coming. Cardiff is going to be underwater, not the whole of Cardiff, part of Cardiff is going to be underwater before 2030. I've got 3 young grandchildren. They're 7 and 5 and nearly a year. And I can't bear to think about their future. What is their future? I'm so terrified for them. That's why I'm here.
Thank you so much, Anne. So Anne's been here since 11. The police have arrived, but are just managing traffic at the moment and letting Anne be her Rebellion of One. Over to you.
We're just going to cut live and show your statement video. We're going live and showing your statement video.
We're in a climate and ecological emergency. We have crises all over the planet, and these are affecting people right now. People are dying, environments are crumbling, ice caps and places are melting, which means that sources of water which irrigate millions of hectares of land are disappearing, and that means starvation in the future, on a vast scale. So we have to this is getting worse. We have to do something about it, and our governments, our corporations, our institutions are reacting, but they're dragging their feet. They're not acting as fast as they must. And for this reason, we're on the street, and I hope many more of you will be on the street with us in non-violent demonstrations like this to cause change.
Time.
Okay.
Yeah. We're on.
So Liam, you did the Rebellion of One before. Can you tell me, like, why would you want? Normally, when I'm taking action, I'm thinking I'm with thousands of other people, so I feel like I'm very strong as that group of people. I feel quite protected. What made you think, oh my God, I'm gonna go and sit in a road today?
Well, I didn't actually sit in the road. I was on the support team that day. But my experience of Rebellion of One is just that this real sense of magic was created, that there was a suspension of reality. You know, the normal rules of how we live day to day in society were completely sort of like transformed into something completely different. And yeah, there was a real like polarization that occurred. So you had people that were shouting and screaming at the sitter to get up, and then you had people, like there was a family of 4 that came up to the sitter and was saying like, thank you for doing what you're doing. And they created all these kinds of different conversations on the street around what is it that this person is doing. And there was like, people were talking about the climate crisis for that half an hour or for however long that the sitter was in the road until they got arrested. And this is the other thing to say, which is amazing about Rebellion of One, is that because it's not just, there's a maybe that people slip into just being able to hide from their hometowns and just come to London and disrupt London, which tactically, of course, is a good idea. But for this action, I think like the way that we're disrupting local towns and cities all over the country, and telling people where we live about this climate crisis and about the gravity of the situation is another really great thing about it. But yeah, that's the main thing I found from my experience of Rebellion of One, is how it just changes. There's like, you know, a suspension of reality, which was really amazing.
And then people who are thinking, maybe people have been through this COVID time, we've been really alone, and there have been some actions happening on the street. You know, we've had HS2 rebels doing Rebellion of One, lorry surfing on their own, like, you know, showing how much disruption an individual can create. But I'm really looking forward to this time as we come out of this crisis, that we can come together on the streets. Like, what have we got planned over the next few months that people definitely need to look out for on the XR website and Facebook?
So we've got on the next sort of mass action that's planned is June 27th, 28th. We've got a People's Assembly march that where Extinction Rebellion is supporting. And then there's a Free the Press action on the 28th of June on that Sunday, where we're going to sort of, again, talk about how our media is not reporting on this crisis properly. It's owned by 4 billionaire businessmen who are serving their own interests and not the interests of the general public in this country. So we've got an action about that. And then we're sort of gearing up to a rebellion in late summer. So yeah, there's going to be loads that's happening. And we, you know, now is a time to start reconnecting with your local group. You know, if you haven't been going for a while over COVID, if you've drifted off, you know, hopefully the people that are sat in the road at the moment have inspired you to sort of take action, because unless we all come together, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, and the COVID crisis has been devastating, and we've seen, you know, that our leaders are prepared, you know, to keep this machine going at any cost, you know, whether these rumours are true, bodies lying in the streets. That crisis, the COVID crisis, is going to be tenfold, 20-fold, 100-fold with the climate crisis, and the government is going to have that same attitude, that it's just going to want to keep the system going. But after pandemics, history shows us that it is a time of huge transformation, and people are prepared to take bigger risks than they've ever taken before. And after people will be angrier at the government than they ever have been before, at least within my lifetime. And there is this real potential, if we get organised and if we get together and if we make some solid plans, that we're going to see huge transformative change. So I hope all of these people sitting, these 16 people you can see on the screens, the 200 people from teenagers up to grandparents, I hope that these people can inspire you like they've certainly inspired me today.
We've got another video here with some more shots from different parts of the country where Rebellion of One is happening today. Again, just to remind you, you know, this is happening in Tynedale, Bournemouth, Birmingham, Nottingham, Exeter, Northampton, Cumbria, Herefordshire, Portishead, Hertfordshire, Cornwall, Barnet, Dorchester, Carlisle, Scarborough, where my mother is actually sitting doing Rebellion of One today. I hope she's okay. We're in Bangor in Northern Ireland, who, yeah, amazing that they're doing Rebellion of One over there in Northern Ireland. Chesterfield, Sheffield, Clapham, Swansea. This is literally going on all over the country right now. And, you know, one of the, like we were talking earlier about, you know, fear and how terrifying the prospect is of sitting in the road, and how activism is about us facing our fears and really breaking through those barriers that stop us taking action if we possibly can. And you know, not everybody can take those risks. And of course, we understand that. But, you know, this is what's required of us now in 2021. You know, this is what it means to be human, to live life viscerally, to really experience life as it's meant to be lived, which is imposing injustice wherever you find it. And let's not mess about here. What we're currently facing up to in this climate crisis and our government's inaction is criminal negligence. They're not looking after us properly, and they're not looking after our children's future, and they're not looking after the people all around the world that are going to suffer horrendous consequences of this crisis. And, you know, and what does that mean to be human at this time? It means that we have to go into resistance against that injustice. And, you know, whether we like it or not, that's what's required of us now at this time. So, yeah, and just seeing people taking action today has really made me feel motivated to start doing more this year and later on this year as we go in towards COP and all the other things that are happening.
We can see the police are arriving here on the scene in Oxford.
Hi. Oh, are you coming to Oxford? Hi, so we're here in Oxford with Anne. The police have moved their van now so that it's, I think, protecting her from traffic. And yeah, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, well, I think that this woman, Anne, is chosen to sit here in the road in Oxford today because of her fear. And it's a fear that lots of people share, and it's a fear that we won't have a safe and habitable future for ourselves, for our children, for our grandchildren, for all the future generations, and for all the species that share the earth with us as well. And I think along with that fear is courage. You know, fear gives you courage, fear gives you conviction, and it's the courage to stand up and, in this case, to sit down and say that things have got to change. We need radical change, and we need people to wake up from the kind of day-to-day reality and realise that. And, you know, our government 2 years ago declared a climate and ecological emergency, and yet all we hear is words and no real serious policy to tackle the kind of radical change that we need. And brave people like Anne have stood up and said that, you know, we must put pressure on those in power, those who have responsibility to protect us and to make the kind of radical changes that will create a safe and habitable future. And, you know, that is a choice that we can make if we work together. So we want everyone here to wake up and those in power to do what is necessary to please create a future for all of us.
And the Rebellion of One, it's happening across the country.
Yeah, so I think it's happening today all over the UK. We've got really brave individuals who are sitting down the roads and making their voices heard, and, you know, creating a lot of awareness about the fact that we must change, we must wake up. And you know, thank you to all those people who have chosen to sit down and to expose themselves in all their vulnerability, but they're expressing that fear that is many people's fear, and that courage and that conviction that is so inspiring for all of us.
And how's it going so far?
Yeah, Anne's been pretty amazing, I think. She seems to be holding up really well, and the police have been very courteous as far as I can see, and they are both protecting her and redirecting the traffic, and there's been a lot of interest around. Quite a lot of people have stopped to really express their thanks and their appreciation and their support, many more than have expressed more negative sentiments as far as I've seen. So we hope that a lot of people have taken notice, and a lot of people will remember what they've seen today as well, and they'll go home and they'll think about it.
Thank you very much. How's it going?
All fine, thank you. It's kind of amazing to think of all the other people doing it too. It's quite emotional, really, thinking of so many people out there around the country doing it. So, some of the really nice things that people have been saying. Been some lovely people. I'm in the charity, but not very much. Yes,
Okay, thank you very much. We're heading over to London now.
We're here in Covent Garden in central London. We have a person sitting in the middle of the road here. Just to the right, we've got Covent Garden Underground Station. We have a police. They are looking at the sitter. It's quite silent here. It's very quiet. It's quite peaceful. It's very peaceful here. It's very peaceful here in Covent Garden in central London. Got a road being blocked by a single lady sitting in the middle of the road, sitting there quite peacefully, just petting a dog. It's going by. Has a sign saying, "I'm too terrified about the climate crisis to be considered a bystander any longer." In the back of the sign, it says, "I'm too terrified about the climate crisis to be considered bystander any longer." So it's just saying it on both sides of the sign. You can see down the far end, there's traffic has been diverted away from here. So there's somebody talking to the cars as they come up, telling them to go down the side lane. We've got watchful eyes of the police making notes. And then just down here, this is the Covent Garden tube station. And then there's the Covent Garden market. So we've got quite a lot of people walking by who are reading the sign, looking at it, reflecting. It's just showing the power that one person can have. One person, solo person, taking action by themselves, standing up to the climate and ecological emergency. On this May Day, 1st of May. It's quite a significant day for protests, Labour Day. So, as we heard, this is, and we've seen, this is happening up and down across the country with brave sitters making a definite stand to the UK government about its failing. It's 2 years ago that the Parliament declared the climate and ecological emergency. Since then, very little has happened. In actual fact, depending which way you look at it, we're going in reverse. We've had this bravo talks of new climate targets coming into place of 78% reduction by 2035. Yet, at the same token, we have the Committee on Climate Change brought out the report earlier this year and saying the majority of the key indicators we're actually failing on, and we're set to miss our 4th and 5th carbon budget. Yet the government are talking about carbon budgets set up to 2050. Also, this government was talking about Build Back Better. 54% of all the money that the banks were bailing out, or the Bank of England quantitative easing was printing money to stimulate the economy after COVID. 54% has been invested in hydrocarbons, into airline industries, into car manufacturers, into fast fashion, into industries that are going to speed up the acceleration of climate breakdown. So that's actually happening. So this very brave lady who's making a very defiant statement here in the middle of Covent Garden. I'm going to pass you back to the studio and hear what's happening around the country.
Hi Fergal, thanks for that insight into what's happening in Covent Garden. And I just, wish our technology could expand across these 200 different sites where people are doing this across the country. And it's so inspiring and it's so amazing. And what I think we have to realise is it's still not enough, and we still need to do more, and we still need to bring this climate crisis to the forefront of every single decision that we're making in every single institution, in every single government building, at the top of every syllabus in school, because this really is a crisis that threatens us all universally, and that's why these individuals are going out of their way on their own. We had Bing Jones saying, I'm sorry to disrupt ordinary people, but I do not know what else to do. And I think that's what this shows. Liam.
Yeah, just to say, if this live stream's inspired you, just please share this live stream as much as you can. Please consider, joining your local group. Please consider coming out to some of the actions that Extinction Rebellion have got planned for later in the year. And just also to say that this is not the end of protest today, that the Kill the Bill marches are happening all around the country. There's also a huge one happening in London. And I suppose this is our little nod as a movement to say that despite the government's fear-mongering of trying to intimidate us with draconian laws, that we will still resist and we will still protest, because this crisis is too terrifying not to resist. And so, we've got to do that. But, just to say that there are Kill the Bill marches happening from all kinds of different movements today, and Extinction Rebellion members will be out supporting that as well later today after Rebellion have won. Yeah, it's just absolutely unbelievable to think that even in this bill they mention solo protests. They mention protests that also disrupt infrastructure, but we know that these protests work. So it's like the government are really trying to clamp down, but it's a sign that what we're doing is working, and we really need to keep doing it. So Fergal, how do you feel about today? Hey Fergal.
Hi, how you doing? I'm here in Covent Garden, and I've seen two sitters today in Piccadilly Circus and now here, and it's very, very powerful. It really is. It's not just symbolic, but it's actually showing the power of one, that we all have a voice and we can all take action, and there is more that we can all collectively do. And just one person sitting in defiance, in silence on the road, is getting loads of attention. The amount of people that are coming up, like this man here, taking photos. People are stopping on their way shopping, whatever they're up to. We've just had a postman stop, and he's been looking what's going on, reading the signs. So this multiplied by hundreds of actions up and down across the country, you're talking about thousands and tens of thousands of people who are visually going to have seen what's actually happened, and that's gonna stay in their minds today and for the next couple of days. And then when they hear about talks about the climate crisis, or they hear talks about the negotiations, they'll probably start like paying a bit more attention. And that's what it really is. And the lady I spoke to earlier in Piccadilly Circus, and she works with small children, and she just said she's absolutely terrified for their future and is morally obliged to actually go and take these actions, because she feels like there's nothing else left for her to do except to take direct action and call the government out about its failures. And I was just mentioning just earlier about like the UK government, the Committee on Climate Change, missing most of its key indicators for CO2 reduction or greenhouse gas reductions of decarbonising the UK. So it's simply not good enough when you've got your own governmental departments calling out the government's lack of action in that progress report. And yet we have these bravo words of Boris Johnson talking about building back better and green economy. And a lot of people, we throw around the word greenwash because we're quite used to the fact that people say one thing and they do something else. But a lot of people don't even understand what greenwashing is. And when you actually see what's in the papers and you hear what's on the news, you actually think, oh, okay, the government's got this under control. But once you just scratch beneath the surface, you actually quickly realize that what they're doing is they're deceiving us, and it's actually lies. And having brave sitters like here in the middle of the road taking action like this, calling out the governments, and just sitting here in the rain in defiance, and people are going by, people are stopping and having a look to see what's actually going on. And hopefully this is going to have an impact on people, and it just shows that we do have the right to protest. Here, especially in the UK, we've got an obligation for everything that historically this country has done, and the countries that are going to be most affected first are going to be some of the poorest countries in the world, and we have an obligation to actually go and actually get this to really, really push our government, because we've got the G7 coming up in June. Also, we have the biodiversity conference. I think that might have been delayed, and then we've got the UN COP26 in October, and we need to be really pressurising our government, our local politicians, and also getting everybody to wake up and getting the general public to wake up, and then especially the media. The media is failing us, and we need them all to wake up and start taking action. And we saw we can do it, like we did with the crisis just now, with the COVID crisis. And if you said a year ago that we're going to ground all the airplanes in the world, people would have said that's absolutely crazy. It's never going to happen. But we saw with an emergency, with a health emergency, that action like this can actually happen. And this is the last decades that we can actually put policies, funding, and implement a plan to actually fully tackle the ecological and climate crisis. So this is what's needed.
Thank you, Fergal. Yeah, I think that's a really good place to leave today. And yeah, thank you for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know if thank you is the right word, but everyone who's taken part, it's just amazing. And I hope this action will inspire more action going forward.
Yeah, just another reminder to please share this live stream. Please get in touch with your local Extinction Rebellion group, and please consider what these hundreds of people all over the country have done today, and what does that mean for us and our own activism and what we choose to do for the rest of 2021, because we all need to come together to fight this inaction by this government and the criminal negligence that's taken place. So hopefully today it's certainly been an inspiration to me, and hopefully to the people watching this, it can be an inspiration to all of us to really step up in 2021 and start to take the action that's required in order to force this government, because that's what we're talking about here. We're not asking the government anything. Actions like Rebellion of One are saying we're forcing the government to take action. And imagine if Rebellion of One was scaled up so that thousands upon thousands of people were sat on roads all over the country at the same day, at the same time. Imagine the power that that will have. So the possibilities for this tactic is really endless. So yeah, anything is possible, and this fight is totally winnable, but only if enough of us are willing to really step up and take the action that's required, like the people up and down the country today have chosen to do. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and lots of love.